We're holding on Lamites Amid Beis, 6 lines from the bottom. Rami Rav Tuvi Barav Kisno the Ravo. Rav Tuvi Barav posed a question to Ravo. Tanan, we had learned in our Mishnah, Kol Osa Mitzvah Achas Meitivin Lo. If one does a mitzvah, that's when he's deserving of reward. They will do good for him. So what's the connotation also? Osa A, Lo Osa Lo. If you do the mitzvah, then you're qualified for reward. If not, not. Uramini. We learned in the Brisa, Yoshev Lo Over Aveiro. The person was passive and he did not transgress. Noslam Schar Kosa Mitzvah. He receives reward as if he actually did the mitzvah, although he's passive. So how do we reckon? The Mishnah says only also if you did the mitzvah, you actualize the mitzvah. Being passive, it's not enough. It's not enough not to do the avera. When the Mishnah, the Brisa says that if a person who's passive and doesn't do avera, that he receives reward as if he did the mitzvah, that's speaking where he was tempted, and despite the temptation, he suppressed the temptation and he didn't do the avera. But a person who, let's say, normally keeps kosher, he's not tempted not to eat kosher. He doesn't get reward for not eating not kosher because there was no challenge. It's only if a person's challenged and you're able to get the upper hand and do the right thing, that's when the person is deserving. We once had Rabbeinu Yonah says in the Shar, what's the Osa Mitzvah? What is the Osa Mitzvah? So he says the mitzvah is Yiras Hashem. What mitzvah? A person is tempted to eat non-kosher meat. And because, and what? And he's able to take control and he doesn't give in to his temptation. It's Osa Mitzvah. What mitzvah did you do? You didn't eat what? The mitzvah of what? Not eating kosher meat? There's no mitzvah not to eat kosher meat. It's a lav. So the mitzvah is, Rabbeinu says, the mitzvah is Yiras Hashem. Because what caused you not to eat the mitzvah? Why were you able to rein in on yourself? It's because you had Yiras Shamayim. The Yiras Shamayim didn't allow you to cross that line. You're okay with that? You're not tempted.
Not tempted at all. Is that also your
No, it's not.
So then,
Because you're conditioned.
you don't get a mitzvah for doing that, even though you've trained yourself so well that you
At this point, no. It's only when you're challenged.
So it's the continuous challenge that you really get the spark.
The Chofetz Chaim says something phenomenal. The Chofetz Chaim says something interesting. He says, based on this principle, he writes that through speech, you're able to violate 10 things a day easily. You have Lashon Hara, you have Rechilus, you have Motzi Shemra, you have Onos Dvorim, you have Malba B'nei Chaver B'Rabim, you have flattery, enumerates multiple expressions, verbal expressions which touch upon Torah violations. We took 10 a day, continuous. And therefore he speaks about how you have to be careful, but he says it's not only not to do the wrong thing, he says, but we're challenged throughout the day. Person always has a need sometimes to express himself. And he doesn't because it's wrong. So every time he has that need or that he's challenged to say something and he doesn't, it's kilosa mitzvah. So throughout a day, even the person, let's say, doesn't speak Lashon Hara. He's not even tempted to speak Lashon Hara. But there's always, you want to say like a witty word at somebody else's cost. You know? It'll hurt someone's feelings. Or you could say something which you feel may cause another person embarrassment, and you don't. So that's this, right? This is Bo'aver Liyodo V'nitzul Hemeno. It's Kosa Mitzvah. That's so throughout the day you could accumulate hundreds and hundreds of mitzvahs. You get on the phone, and you could say another word which would be not appropriate, and you don't say that word. Not saying that word is a mitzvah, and it comes up continuous throughout the day. If a person is careful what he speaks, you're continuously challenged. And give you an example. The halacha is that you're permitted to share negative information if it has constructive value. Correct? Somebody wants to ask you about an employee. Is he competent? Is he trustworthy? Many things. And there's 6 reasons why he's not hireable. Why you should not hire him. For one of the reasons, that would be enough not to hire the person. That you wouldn't even consider hiring him, employing him. So the man says, could you share something about this man? I want to know, he applied for a position. Is he employable? And you give 4 of the 6 reasons. If you would have given 1, it would have been enough. Right? Because that's constructive. Beyond the first, it has no constructive value. Because the first piece of information you shared with him is enough that he understands he's not hiring him. So what did you add by mentioning the other things which are negative? Any additional information he gave has no constructive value. That's Nisa Doraisa. That's considered Lashon Hara. It says many, many things. He speaks about a person comes and asks a person about a shidduch. And you're honest and you want to share something negative. Why she's not the girl. Or the father-in-law is a problem. The father-in-law gave certain financial commitment, and you know the father-in-law is not going to carry through. Do you share it with the prospective chassan, room deep? She says, depends. Sometimes people, even after they hear negative information, they're going to go through it in either case. So if that's the case, what are you sharing with them? The only reason why you're sharing is because, see, before you share it, you have to think and do your homework, so to say, to understand that it's going to make a difference whether yes or no. Or at least there'll be consideration not. But if it's the type of person, even if he knows the negative information he's going through in either way, you should not share the information. That's Lashon Hara. So I'm saying, if you fully understand the full gamut, throughout the day, there are endless unfortunate opportunities where you're challenged, and every time you rein in on yourself, it's kilos a mitzvah. Okay? So we're saying, Yoshev v'lo'over avera nostum schar kos mitzvah. It's only when an avera presents itself, and what? And you're saved from it because the person reined in on himself. Yod Rab Chanina or Bar Popi, Tavati Matrudusa. Here, this woman went and seduced this great rabbi to have an affair with her. So what does he do? And we'll see the moment he couldn't escape it. Oma milsa mola nafshi shichno, the kivo. So he said some kind of word, and his body became filled with boils and all types of lesions. So if that's the case, the woman will lose his interest in him. The man is covered with boils and lesions. So she was a sorceress. So what did she do? Avda himilsa vitzi. She did her thing, and he was healed immediately, because she had an interest in him, and he couldn't escape her clutches. She's really pursuing him, and there's no let up. What does he do? Orak tosha be'ubebani. He fled, and he hid in a bathhouse. Well, let's see what kind of bathhouse he hid in. The Gemara says in Brochos we had in Daf Gimel, speaks about Shedim, that a person, if he goes by himself as a single person, he could be harmed by a demon. 2 people, the demon will not harm them. 2 people.
They go where?
Wherever they go, even if the demons, anywhere, he will not be harmed. They will not harm 2 people. An individual, a solitary person, he's by himself, he could be harmed. But if it's 2 people, he will not be harmed. What about it's their location? This is where they congregate the demons, right? Then even 2 people, 3 people, they could be harmed. There you need special protection not to be harmed. So over here, he fled to this bathhouse. Even if 2 people during the daytime, not even the nighttime, they go to this bathhouse, they'd be harmed by the demons. And this is the bathhouse he fled to, because this is the lesser of the 2 evils, so to say. Here she's pursuing him to seduce him. She can't escape his clutches, so he goes and hides there. So when he came out unharmed, so his colleague said to him, "Who protected you?" You should have come out all beaten up or injured, or maybe not even alive. How did you come out of that? Omalu shnei nosei kesa shamruni kol halaylo. He says, two individuals who carry the emperor, the Caesar, they watched me. They were there, watched over me all night. They're the ones who watched over me all night. Meaning, Hashem sent Malochim to protect him from these mazikim, from these demons. Omru lei, so they said to him, because they knew he was there, but they didn't understand why he went there. Omru lei, here we're saying this bathhouse, even during the daytime you can be harmed. And here he hid there all night. So after a night stay in this bathhouse to come out alive or not seriously injured, he says, I had two people watching over me. Omru lei shema dvar avera bodiyotcho v'nitzalti meno. He says, maybe he says, they asked him, is it because you were confronted with a sexual situation and you were able to take control and you were saved, you didn't violate. So that's why you merited the special shmira. Ditnino kol habo dvar erva liyodo v'nitzlei menu osan nes. A person who was confronted with a dvar erva and he was saved from it, meaning he extricated himself from it, Hashem will provide a miracle for him, for that person. It's interesting. There's a famous Chazal. David, you say you're down for the Yom on Yom Tov or on Rosh Chodesh. It says Vayar ha'om ve'yonos. Right? When we came to Kriyas Yamsuf, it says Vayar to the sea. Vayar ha'om ve'yonos. The sea saw it and it fled. So the met Hayom ra'ov ve'yonos. The sea saw and fled. What did it see? So the Medrash says it saw Arono Shel Yosef. Saw the remains of Yosef. When it saw the remains of Yosef, it fled. What happened what happened there? Because it says Vayonus hachutza. When the wife of Potiphar tried to seduce him, it said she grabbed onto his garment and he fled outside, fled the location. So when the Hayom Ro'ah Vayonos, when it saw the person who was Vayonos, who fled, so the sea fled from that presence. That's the Medrash. What exactly is Chazal telling us? Yosef to take control in that situation there, this was considered almost supernatural. Within the realm of human ability, he should have succumbed to temptation. That he did not succumb is something which is out of the ordinary. To the level, it's almost miraculous that he was saved. So just as he was able to take control of natural and not give in to live as a natural person who normally would have been drawn to that, identically, naturally the sea flows. But just as when it saw Arono Shel Yosef, who went against the grain, so therefore that's the meter keneged midah, measure for measure, that's why the sea split. That's the Chazal. Hayom Ra Vayonos, Mara Arono Shel Yosef. As it says, Vayonos Achutza. So I'm saying over here, naturally, in this situation, to be pursued within this context, the person could have justified it 1,000 times. I'm not interested. I had no choice. He goes and flees into a location which is putting his life in jeopardy, not to violate this area. So what is this? This is unusual. This is more than unusual. A man who's willing to go against the grain to such a degree where he should have succumbed endless times over. So, mida keged neg mida, Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's osen lo nes. Hashem provides a miracle. He was protected from the mazik and from the demons in the bathhouse. Gibore koach oset dvaro. Lishmoa b'kol dvaro. Famous posuk. This is the posuk cited by when we said Das of Nishmat Sinai. Who are angels? Gibore koach oset dvaro. They do his dictate. Lishma b'kol dvaro. Although, and they only hear afterwards. Right? We said Nasa before Nishma. Right? This is, the Gemara says, Migilo Razeh Labonai. Who revealed the secret to my children? That they speak like angels. Because the angel does the will of God before even, he's committed to do his will even before he knows what it is, what the command is. Who are Gibarika Osid Dvaro Lishma b'kol dvaro? What examples? Other cases. These people were confronted with enormous, overwhelming level of temptation, and they did not succumb to temptation. Go Reb Tzodek v'chaveirov. Reb Tzodek tavate yahi matridusa. This matronly woman, a non-Jewish woman, again, she demanded of Reb Tzodek his service. She demanded it. Meaning his life was in jeopardy. He had no choice. So what did Omar lo cholash li liboy v'lo matzino? He says, I feel too weak. I feel weakness of the heart, and because I can't, ika migdi lemechel. Do you have something to food? If I'll eat, I'll have the strength. Otherwise, at this point, I'm so weak, I can't even get involved. Can't engage with you. Omar la ika dava tomei. She says, I have a piece of pork. Piece of pork for you. Omar lo. So he said to her, my nafkamino, David, ho, ochol ho. So that she presented him, was a non-kosher food, a non-kosher piece of meat. That was a clear message from Hashem. Meaning, a person who engages in that, that's what he deserves to eat. Hashem's telling you, you know something? I'm throwing you to the dogs. If this is the way you're going to behave, this is going to be your fare. You're going to eat pork. Doesn't make, but it's the direction. That's the sign. Hashem says, you know something? I'm just going to throw the book at you. Once you do this, that's what you deserve. So he took this as a real wake-up call. Shogris tanura. Her shogris tanura, excuse me, shogris, she fired the oven to prepare the pork for him. Command cholei. V'yosef b'gaveg. Hear this? He goes into the oven. Goes into the oven. Meaning he's willing to die. It's a question of Yehoreg V'Yavar over here. Omra le Mahai. She says, well, what kind of craziness is this? What are you doing inside the oven? Omar lo David ho dofa b'ho. Because if one goes and violates this area, that you're going in there anyway. I might as well go in it now. Since ultimately I'm going to be thrown in, I'm going to the fires of Gehenna, I might as well go into the oven right now and not violate. Right? Why wait? Do it now and not violate. Omar le Mahai. He says, Omar le Yadi kulahai lo tzartich. If I knew that you're taking it to heart to such a degree, I wouldn't have pursued you. I wouldn't have pressured you. I didn't realize you were such a religious man. That you're willing to die not to do it. If that's the case, I'm going to leave you alone. What?
Turn off the oven. Is there something with the affair with the non-Jewish woman that also considered...
Beis Yosef rules in Shulchan Aruch, there's halacha. You can have it. Kanon Pogimu. Why did Pinchas kill Zimri? Right? Pinchas killed Zimri when he was cohabiting with Cosby, Bastzur. So because Moshe had taught him that Habola Rabis Kanon Pogimu, the one who engages with a non-Jewish woman, if a person is a zealot, he has a right to kill that man. To kill the one while he's engaging with the non-Jewish woman. And that's why Pinchas killed Zimri together with Cosby when they were engaging in that act. So the Beis Yosef says, although it's only when it's b'fahesio, when it's done in a public setting, because there was public knowledge what was going on when Zimri was involved with Cosby, nevertheless, he says, there's a chiyuv of a Yehoreg V'Yavar, even if it's not in a public setting. Since in the public setting, there is an obligation of Yehoreg V'Yavar, because you see, there's a loch of Kano and Pogimbo. If there be a Kano, he has a right to kill him. So we see it's punishable by death, although he cannot be prosecuted in Bezdin. Therefore, even if it's not the public setting, even B'tzina, a person should give his life, Yehoreg V'Yavar. That's the Beis Yosef. Vern who has relations with the, it's only while he's cohabiting, only then. That's the law that was given at Sinai, ordained at Sinai. Well, it's definitely Kiddush Hashem, but the question is, but again, you don't have to give your life for Kiddush Hashem. Here he has to give his life. Rav Kana v'komazbin dikuli. These are the greatest Amoroim. Rav Kana, could you imagine Rav Kana? He sold baskets. He was a basket salesman. Right? This is before vacuum cleaners. Okay? Before online, he had to go visit the people's houses. Rav Kahana was, when he came, he fled from, you know who Rav Kahana was? Rav Kahana killed a person in Bavel, and he fled to Eretz Yisrael. Who does he meet when he arrives in Yerushalayim? He meets Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish was the primary student of Rabbi Yochanan. So he says to Rish Lakish, what did you discuss in Shir today? So he engaged with him. Immediately Rish Lakish goes running to his Rabbi Yochanan. He says, Ari Olami Bavel. A lion is just the son of Bavel. This is Rav Kahana. And the whole story, he died, and then afterwards, Rabbi Yochanan went to resurrect him. And the snake, the serpent, didn't let Rabbi Yochanan into the cave until he says, let the Talmud come see its Rebbe. Rabbi Yochanan said, until Rabbi Yochanan acknowledged that he's the equivalent of a student to a Rebbe, he could not go into the cave. This is how great Rav Kahana was, and listen to the story. Rav Kahana became Masbid Dikuli. Could you imagine? He was a basket salesman. Sold baskets. And he went into a woman's house, Tavati Machadusa. And this woman, she cornered him. Omar lo, Ezel Ikshit Nafshoi. He says, I just want to prepare myself, get myself ready to engage with you. What did he do? Solak v'kanaf migra. Lara, he jumped off the roof. He was agreeable to commit suicide, not to engage with this woman. That was the only option. Otherwise, he'd be forced to be involved with her. Os Elio Kiblei. Elio all of a sudden catches him in midair. Elio shows up just in the nick of time, catches him as he's falling, and he doesn't die. Omar Leg, so Elio says to Rav Kahana, Ajrachten Arba Mea Parsi. He says, you know, you convinced me. I had to travel to get you 400 Parsi. That's 1,600 miles. This is before supersonic. Okay? Yeah, I had to be here in an instant, otherwise you would have died. Omar Lei, so Rav Kahana, meaning he was saying to him, you put yourself in this predicament. What are you doing selling baskets? Right? That's what he said to him. Omar Lei migoram league lavani yuso. He says, did I have a choice? I'm in such an impoverished state. I had to earn a living. So I had to sell baskets. So the cause, I can't be faulted. This is what he says to Eliyahu Navi. Yov lo shifa didinrik. So he gave him a basket of gold coins to alleviate his poor state, that he had money to provide for himself, that he shouldn't have to expose himself to these levels of situation. Okay? So these are Gibore Koach Osidvaro. To what degree were they willing to sacrifice not to do the wrong thing? Okay? I see you read what you read the commentary. What's wrong when he got the basket of money? If Elio is giving him the money, what, he's afraid he's going to be tempted by too much money? Right? Well, no, but we said this before. A person who's what called a bod v'nitzel not oselo nes. It's not going to cost him, right? He's nitzel. He understands. Rami Rava the Rav Nachman. Rava posed a question to Rav Nachman. Tinan, we learned in the Mishnah Peah. Elu dvarim she'adam ochel, she'adam oseh osan, v'ochel pirasem l'mazeh. V'akeren keves l'labo. The things which a person does, he eats the fruit in this world, and the principle is intact for the world to come. Elohein, kibra ve'eim, milos hasod, v'oshol min chaveiro, v'sam tor keneged kulam. Okay? So all these various mitzvahs are mentioned. How do we know that it's ochel pirasem l'mazeh, keren keves l'mabo? Because v'roveim ksiv l'man yarichen yomecho, u'l'man yitavloch. Right? It speaks about long days, and yitavloch will be good for you. Milas chasodim ksiv, what does it say? A person does milas chesed. Rodev tzedakah v'chesed. Yimtzo chayim tzedakah v'chavod. Okay? You're going to find life. And you're going to have tzedakah v'chavod. So that's this world and the world to come. That's Gemilas Chasodim. It doesn't say it. Doesn't say it before. Turn there, show me. You read it, you see what it says in the margin. Some omit it because the Mishnah doesn't say that. That's only an application of Gemilas Chesed. I made the point when we learned it. You see in the margin, in the brackets, Shtei Tevis Halolo V'achnos Orchem Lesser B'Mishnah Debeya V'lo B'Shum Mokum. Right there. No, you don't have to go back any further. Right here, in the margin. Okay, the Mishnah Peya, the Achnos Orchem is not mentioned. Okay. Ubavo Shalom. Ksiv, Bake Shalom Rodfeyu. You should seek Shalom and you should pursue it. Vomer Rebavo, Asir Redif Redif Ksiv Hocha Bake Shalom Rodfeyu. Uksiv Hosem Rodef Stokov Chesed. So we have Xerashav says, we said before, by Gemilas Chasodim, he will find Chaim Stokov Chavod. So we have Xerashav Redif Rodef Redif Redifa. Betam Luxor Ksiv, Kihu Chayecha Vorech Yomecha. It's your life and it's the length of your days. So the Gemara asks, B'shulach hakan nami ksiv. Shulach hakan is not mentioned as one of the things that you ochel persei mulamazeh karen kemes lamabo. It says by shulach sending away the mother bird. Ksiv man yitav loch v'avrachta yomim. So listening nami ho. So Rava asked Rav Nachman, why isn't that mentioned in the Mishnah? It's based on these psukim. The same pasuk is stated by Shluch HaKan as is stated by the others. So what is the Tano mit? Shluch HaKan. So Rav Nachman answers Rava, Tana V'Shayir. He states what he states, but he left out some. So Shluch HaKan he admitted. You don't have to mention everything. So Rava says to Rav Nachman, Tana Elu Dvor V'Adamri Tana V'Shayir. The Tana writes the way he states the Mishnah. These are the things. So what's the connection of these? These and the none others. See, the Tana uses that terminology, and you mean to say he just admitted it? It's not possible. Okay.
Even if you have a list, even if you say these four.
Right. But he's saying it at a more simple level. I mean, the question is, the Tana, if he admits something, he always admits multiple things. He never admits one thing. He could have said that, but he's saying even on a more simple level. Because the terminology, the language he uses, Elo, means these and then others. The none others. The Shluch HaKan. Omar Rava. So evidently, Rava already knew the answer. He just wanted to see what Rav Nachman would say. Rava says, Ravidi Asberli. He says, Ravidi explained it to me. Why Shluch HaKan is omitted, is not mentioned in the Mishnah. He explained to me based on this pasuk. It says, the Navi says, Imru tzadiki tov. You should say to the tzaddik who's good, Ki pri malaleim yochelu. They will eat the fruits of their deeds, of their actions. See this? Imru tzadiki tov. You will say to the tzaddik who's good. So the Gemara asks, V'chi yesh tzaddik tov, yesh tzaddik sheinu tov. I mean, evidently, if you're a tzaddik, he's good. He's a good man. So what do you mean? You should say to the tzaddik who's good. So the inference is, but there's a tzaddik who's not so good. El tov l'shamayim l'briya said tzaddik tov. A person who's good to God and to people, that tzaddik is the exceptional tzaddik. That's tzaddik tov. This is bein odom l'chavir, bein odom l'mokom. Tzaddik l'shamayim v'ra l'briyos. But the person does everything perfectly between him and God, but he doesn't accommodate people. Is that tzaddik sheinu tov? So what did you answer? When you learned the Gemara, what did you say? Okay. No, the connotation is you do everything perfect. Tzaddik means you do everything perfectly. His totality is not tzaddik. But in his relation with God, he is a tzaddik. Tzaddik means everything's done perfectly. He does. He failed. Beinom l'chavero. Similarly, we find oy l'rosh ra. Woe to the evil one who's evil, who's bad. Ki gemol Yodov ye'oselo. The actions of his hands will come upon him. Meaning, whatever goes around comes around. So the Gemara asks the same question. V'chi yesh rosha ra v'yesh she'eno ra. If a person's a rosh, he's a ra, he's evil. El ra l'shamayim ra l'brius rosha ra. A person who's has no relation with God and he's corrupted between man and his fellow, that is a bad man. He's a rosh ra. Ra l'shamayim v'ena ra l'brius rosha she'eno ra. He's a good person. Unfortunately, he's failed. He's failed between him and Hashem. So again, we're speaking within certain contexts. Right? That one people don't have. He's such a good man. So he doesn't keep Shabbos. He doesn't believe in God. It's okay. You know? But look at all the shelters he built. Methadone. Homeless. All this. He's a good man. So he's not such a Rasha. So that's a Rasha. Ain't no Ra. He's a Rasha, but he's not Ra. You observe Shabbos perfectly. You put on tefillin perfectly.
Like speak badly about people?
You know, no. He doesn't have to speak badly of people. No.
Just don't go out of your way.
Yeah, person wants chesed, a favor. You don't do him the favor.
You pass it.
Right. He's not overtly doing the wrong thing to people. He's not doing the right thing.
It's not the toe.
Right. He's doing. Right. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, also in Chelik, Achav was a very bad king. He was an idolater. And the smoke of his idolatrous offerings would intermingle with the smoke of the korbanos that were brought by the Kohanim. Could you imagine the disgrace? It was close enough to where they had the Beis HaMikdash, the smoke would intermingle one with the other. So the Malachim say to Hashem, you know, it's beyond, can't tolerate this. This is the ultimate level of disgrace. He wants to bring his idolaters, let him do it somewhere else. But his smoke should intermingle with the smoke of the korbanos. So they wanted to go harm him. He says, you can't do it. You have to leave him. Why? Because the chesed of Achav was at a level, there was no person ever turned away. His level of hospitality, he offered his bread to anybody who was needy. His chesed was something not to be believed. So Hashem says, because he's such a Baal chesed, you have no right to harm him. So he was Tov Labrios. Achav was Tov Labrios. L'shamayim, he was a terrible man. He was a bad man. He was evil. He killed the Nevi'im. He murdered, but good, he murdered. Why did he murder them? Because that was his L'shem Shemaim, so to say. Wow. Novel. No, yeah. That was Achav. That was his wife. Who? Achav had plenty of merit. I'm telling you this. Ben Odom Chaver was one of a kind. The way he treated people. What? Not ego. He really valued other people. That was his chesed. Haschus. One does a meritorious act, a mitzvah. Yesh lo keren, yesh lo peros. What is the result of doing a mitzvah? You have principle and you have peros. You have the offshoots of it. Shenemar, imru tzadik kitov. It says, kipri ma'leilim yochelu. They're going to eat the fruits of their actions. So we talk about principle and fruit. Avera, yesh lo keren, ye'ein lo peros. A person doesn't have avera. You have principle, but there's no peros. Meaning, the person is punished for the wrong that he did. Seemingly not for the effect. Shenema oilu rosha roch. So Mar asks the question, Hamani mekai v'yochlu pri darkom motzusem yizbo. Says, but they will eat the fruits of their ways, and they will be sated from all their plottings. So Mar answers, Averu shosa peros yesh lo peros. A person could sin, and it could have a ripple effect. It could produce bad, evil fruit. For instance, Rashi explains, a person that has a certain prestigious status in the community, and he does a chil Hashem. He does something which is considered chil Hashem. So what people are going to learn from his behavior. So he did the wrong thing by sinning, and now being a model, so to say, for the community, people can emulate his evil ways. If that's the case, this is an aveirus shosaperus. This has an effect. It produced fruit. Because not only is he doing the wrong thing, other people are doing the wrong things because they're drawing a lesson from his behavior. But your person can do it. If their person wants to eat or do something privately, nobody knows about it. If that you did the other, that's enos aperus. It has no effect. Rishim Zechariah Baruch always used to say, it says that we read in Pirkei Avos that it's the Vilna Gaon's question. It says there's din v'cheshbon, right? There's judgment and there's computation. So the Vilna Gaon asks, it should say cheshbon v'din, right? First you make the computation, then you give the verdict. So why is first you have the verdict, then you have the computation? So the Vilna Gaon answers his answer. But Rishim Zechariah Baruch used to say over always that when a person sins, there's judgment. Of course, it's based on computation. But what about after the sin and after the judgment, there's an ongoing effect of that sin? He gives an example. A person goes and influences a person negatively. And because of that negative influence, that person sins. There's machti sarabim. You cause someone else to sin. Now the person dies. So he's no longer here. But because of what he set in motion, the person who you influence negatively, he's going to raise a family. Also, they're going to sin. So therefore, when the person dies, there's din. The judgment at the time of death is what happened, what preceded that moment. But there's an ongoing cheshbon. Ongoing, because all the evil that will be perpetrated in the future, who is it attributed to? It's attributed to that original person who influenced the person negatively. So there's an ongoing cheshbon. So just as he said in the negative, he's saying the positive. Person goes influences somebody positively. And because now he raises a observant family and does mitzvahs and so on and so forth. So there's a verdict when the person dies. But there's an ongoing computation which continuously accrues to the person who set that in motion that they should be all that positive.